Hello there, my name's Steve Smallman and I'm an author and illustrator, and Manchester Libraries have asked me to make some videos for you. It's to celebrate the Summer Reading Challenge and the theme is Wild World Heroes. So we're going to be drawing some animals step by step. And the animal we're drawing today is a very slow animal. It's a snail. Now the first thing you need to do is draw two circles. 1, 2. These are going to be the snail's eyes. You may as well just put the little pupils of his eyes in. I've done 2 little dots and left a little white bit for a highlight. So now we've got 2 dots for the eyes. Now we're going to put a little line underneath both of those eyes, and then 2 lines that come down, get slightly wider at the bottom because snails have their eyes on stalks, don't they? Right, so we've got the top end of our snail. Now it's going to go round both sides, but then I want to put his mouth on. Now I'm going to give him a big smiley mouth. So it's going to come all the way around there like that. It's okay to put a little line on the end of a smiley mouth because it's almost like where it dents his cheek in. And I'm going to give him an open mouth as well. So I'm going to come from that corner, go round and then back up. And then in here I'm going to draw what looks like a little bum shape and then come around it because that's how you draw a tongue that's folded inside your mouth. Okay, and a little line underneath that for the bottom lip. Now our slug looks pretty pleased with himself, doesn't he? Oh, he's a slug. He's a slug at the moment because he hasn't got a shell. Right, okay, that's just about here, I think. We're just going to bring a line that comes down and curves round at the bottom. And then we're going to do a line that's almost straight, coming across the bottom like that. And then we're going to bring this one on this side down like this. And then start to curve it. And then as it comes down, it will curve downwards until it reaches that end. And now we've got a slug. So we better make him a shell and so that he can be a snail. But before we do that, I'm just going to give him some eyelids. I'm going to bring them right down onto those pupils there like that. And it sort of makes him look a little bit sleepy. I put a couple of little lines to suggest a lip on the end of that eyelid. And he looks like a bit of a dopey slug, doesn't he? Okay. Now the thing about slugs and snails, before we do his shell, is that they leave a slime trail behind them. And you can draw that really easily. So if you just follow the line that you're sitting on, and then draw a line going off the page, and then go a little bit higher, and then wiggle that one as well. So you end up with a slightly wobbly trail behind him. And to make it look like it's shiny, if you do some little vertical lines here and there, not too many, you don't want it to look like railway tracks, but if you do a few, it suggests that there are reflections in that and that it's wet. And if we put a little bit of shadow just on the bottom of this edge, it looks like the slug is casting a shadow on the floor. Now, I said slug again, didn't I? Because he hasn't got a tail. So, a tail? He has got a tail, he hasn't got a shell. That's what he hasn't got. Now, when you're drawing a slug's shell, a snail's shell, it'll be easier when he's got a shell. I'll stop calling him a slug. Okay, we're going to do a little lip just there like that. A tiny little curved line, and then a little bit of a shadow that follows the same line there. That's where his shell's sort of sitting on his back. And then we're going to, from just the other side of that, we're not going to draw it on his body, but we can imagine his shell is just behind him and it's going to come up, and then we're going to go up and do a big circle that goes right down back to his back like that. We're not going to stop there, we're going to keep going, and then we're going to go up, and then we're going to turn that into a spiral, like that. Go to about there will do. So now we've got a lovely shell on our snail. And it's up to you if you want to put patterns on the shell. You can put some little stripes on it, or some wiggly ones might look nice. Then you'll be able to colour it different colours if you want to colour it. Just makes it look a little bit more interesting. If you do curved lines, it keeps suggesting that these are rounded shapes and not flat, which makes it look more realistic too. I think that will do nicely. Maybe another one at the bottom like that. There we go. You can even do a few little like spots and things like that on the snail, just to make it look a little less ordinary and flat. And we can put some shading on them quite easily by doing a bit of smudging. Now we know the shadow's over here, which means the light must be coming from that direction. So we could put a bit of smudging. Now, if we pick up a little bit of the pencil from that bit there, and then not quite on the edge, but near to it, we'll put a little line of smudging on that side to make him look a little bit more 3D. Put a little bit on his face as well. So I'm not putting it on this side because that's where the light's going to be. Putting it down this side and down this side. We can do the same with his shell. A little bit down there, a little bit down there, a little bit down there, and we can do the same with his eyes as well. And they've gone a bit smudgy because they've got nice big black pupils there, which is where we picked up some of the pencil, but we can go back in a minute with our rubber and take some highlights out. So I think actually we could put a little bit of smudging in the background as well, so it almost suggests that we've painted a background on it. Now using our rubber, now I'm using a squishy rubber here. It's called a putty rubber. You can squish it up, which means you can get some nice little squishy shapes. But if you've just got a regular rubber, just try and find a corner of it, and then we can just lift out the bits that we don't want to be shaded on the top there like that, and on the side there like that. It all starts to look rather cool. And the very cool thing about slugs is because they're shiny, they get a little edge of light all the way down the darker side. You can even shade a little bit more in there. I'm using a fatter pencil now, look. Go right nearly to the edge, but not quite. And it makes him look shinier. Do try this if you want to have a go. If you're quite happy where it is and you don't want to risk doing it wrong or anything, then, you know, feel free to leave it as it is. But I think it just makes them look a bit shinier, doesn't it? I'm going to go back because I partially rubbed out those eyes. I'm going to put them back in again so they're nice and strong. And there we have a snail, not a slug, who looks rather pleased with himself, doesn't he? Once you've finished your drawing, as always, put your name on it. Steve Smallman, 2021. I thought I'd finished, but I need to make that bit a bit darker. There we go. A snail.